Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I'm going to say right off the bat, spoilers, because we'll probably be talking about nothing but spoilers. I don't know.
There's a lot of things in the trailer. They show Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady in the shower. In the shower.
In the shower, that would be awesome. There you go.
In the trailer, I meant to say. I don't know where that came from. But they show it in the trailer, so, anything we say, it's already been shown in the trailer, so yeah, if you consider that a spoiler, sorry, it's in the trailer.
I just want to say, I'm working on Monster Madness right now. Things are really in high gear at Cinemassacre. We're really busy. It was almost a miracle that we even have 10 minutes to do this. Obviously, this is unscripted. This is just first impression.
Yeah, we're a little late to get into the movie.
We're a little late because we've been busy. So it's a miracle that we even have time to do this, but it's even more of a miracle that Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady are finally in a Ninja Turtles feature live-action film.
Yeah.
This isn't even much of a review, I don't think. This is more of just, I waited 26 years to see this, since 1990, I'll say. It's like since the first live-action film came out. The first live-action film was based mostly on the comics, and actually it's very good, I think, in that aspect, that it was very faithful to the tone of the comics and everything.
But originally we were fans of the cartoon show as kids, which had Bebop, Rocksteady, Krang. So when we went to see the movie, we expected it to have a lot of those characters, and it didn't, so that was disappointing. Then the second movie came, and you figured, by that movie it would have it, and it still didn't have it.
They couldn't get the rights, I think, to
it had Toka and Razar.
So it was sort of, everybody called them Bebop and Rocksteady anyway, but it was Toka and Razar. So it took this long for them to put those characters in a film, and really that's the only thing that got me out to see this, because there's a lot of, there's always lots of movies coming out in the summer. There's always tons and tons of franchises that are either being rebooted most of the time or sequelized. There's an Independence movie coming out, but I don't think it even has Will Smith in it. Will Smith is awesome. He's the biggest part of what made those movies great. I know it has Jeff Goldblum in it. We're not talking about that anyway, but the point is there's lots of franchises coming out, most of them which I will never see. But this one hooked me into seeing it because I have complained years and years and years that Krang isn't in the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like James and I. We've done videos in the past talking about, why isn't Krang in the movie? Why isn't Bebop and Rocksteady? So we're late on seeing this movie, and I was saying to James earlier, if we don't do a review of this, we're kind of assholes if we don't do this, because we've talked about it for so many years.
Let's complain about it for years and years and years, and then when they finally do it, let's not say a word. Let's not say a word. No, here we are saying it. So I totally gave up on this. I wasn't even expecting it. We saw the first reboot, and I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, the first one, but it didn't have Krang or Bebop and Rocksteady. So I thought, okay, at this point, if they didn't do it by then, they're not doing it. Here comes the second movie. So they waited for the second movie to put them in it. So now, okay, you got me. I have to see it.
Right.
So...
And they're going to do the same thing for the third movie, I think, because in this movie you see the Technodrome, but it's flying in the air. My guess is that we're going to get to see even more stuff from the franchise that has not been included yet. They're just going to keep bringing...
we might see, like, Rat King or Leatherhead.
Right, they're going to... And that's what's going to keep us coming to the theaters.
Here's the thing. I know we associate this with Michael Bay. He's not the director on this. It's a Platinum Dunes movie, but the Transformers movies, I think, just progressively got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And especially that last one, the fourth one, was horrible.
Terrible movie.
That was god-awful. And every single time I feel like I got suckered into seeing it, where, the Dinobots are going to be in this one? Okay, guess I have to see it. So I think this is not at all associated with Transformers.
No.
Because we always use the name Michael Bay. It's another Michael Bay movie. I don't really think it has much to do with that. I think this is sort of a separate thing. I feel like what's wrong with the Transformers movies is not
applicable to this.
These aren't as bad, I don't think.
Right, no.
I don't think that this movie was great, but it was entertaining. I think it did exactly what it needed to do. If I was a kid seeing this, I think I would have loved it.
I agree, actually. I thought that this movie was actually much better than I thought it was going to be. I liked it better than the first movie, the one that came out a couple years ago. I did not think it was as good as the 1990 movie, and the main reason I think that this movie fails in comparison to the 1990 movie is I think the 1990 film had a lot of heart and soul to the characters, where this, not to say that this movie didn't have any, but it had a little bit, but it didn't evoke very much of an emotional response at any point, where the 1990s film, I think, was able to capture that.
That is true, and I think that people who haven't seen that in a long time probably don't know what you mean. They probably think, like, what is emotional about a Turtles movie? It really is, actually. The first movie has some tear-jerking parts in it. I remember the line where Splinter says, all fathers care about their sons, because they're trying to find Splinter, and Raphael gets, he's like in a coma, basically,
right,
and that they're waiting for him to come back. They're actually...
There's actually some drama to it.
The first movie is way better than I think most people remember it to be, because I think they usually associate it with the sequels and with all the one-liners and all the really...
The second one's really ridiculous. The third one's just a bad movie. But the first one's legitimately a pretty good, movie.
It is, and it is based right out of scenes from the comics.
So that's where I think this new movie fails, in that it's not as good as that, but this movie isn't bad.
The action is good.
Yeah.
The effects are pretty good. Yeah, I prefer the Jim Henson suits, but still, they did a good job for this.
Bebop and Rocksteady. We got to mention them.
Yep.
It was cool to see them bring it back to how it wasn't the original cartoon, like the first episode, how Bebop and Rocksteady were humans. They get turned into the warthog and the rhinoceros. I thought that they were pretty well done. They had some funny lines in there. There's one part where they look down their pants and they're like, "Oh yeah,"
Well, here's the perfect example right there. Is that they're true to the original characters. Bebop, Rocksteady, Krang. They were all the personalities were all there. They looked like what they were supposed to look like. The difference between this and the Transformers movies is that with the Transformers movies, they just go completely just off the wall. They just completely make up something different.
It's like those movies are just mush. You can't even pay attention.
The only things that connected to the original characters are the names sometimes. I mean, sure, okay, some of them are close enough. Like Optimus Prime, yeah, okay, and it's Peter Cullen doing the voice and everything. But sometimes they'll take a character like, a Devastator, which is just a blob of fucking trash,
One thing that I don't like that they do about those movies is that they make Spike really the main character of those movies, where if you watch any episode of the cartoon, the Optimus or one of the Transformers is the focal point. In the Turtles movie, this Turtles movie at least, sure, they have April O'Neil in there, they have Vernon in there, and they're pretty big parts of the movie, but it doesn't lose sight of the fact that the Turtles themselves are the main focus point of the movie. So I think that that's good that the movie actually follows who it's supposed to follow, which is the Turtles.
Krang is mostly at the end. He does appear in one scene near the beginning, but the rest of him is at the end.
They save him for the end mostly.
When he is, it's good. I mean,
it is.
When he's fighting the Turtles and everything, that's kind of like, you didn't even see the Turtles fight Krang that much in the show,
Well, you just mentioned that, and I want to bring this up. In this movie, there was a really, really awesome sort of fan nod or tribute. One of my favorite episodes of the Ninja Turtles TV show. I think it's the season finale of the third season, and they climb up into the Technodrome, and they get inside, and they're fighting Krang, which did not happen a lot in the series. And I remember a part where Krang actually, his hand goes in, and like a ball and chain or something come out. There's a quick shot in this movie where Leonardo cuts off Krang's hand, and Krang then sucks in a new weapon into his arm, and it's
about the robot.
Yeah,
of course,
the robot form.
Just to be clear, that's
and he sucks in a new weapon onto his arm, and it's the same weapon from that cartoon. I thought that was a great little nod to the cartoon. I was really happy to see that. The Technodrome itself, when it came out of the sky, I thought that the Turtles would stop it, and then it would fall out of the sky, and then end up going under the earth. That doesn't happen.
In the trailer, it's so brief, you don't really know exactly what's happening. Like, I was surprised that the Technodrome looked like the Technodrome. It really did.
It even had the eye.
Yeah, it had the eye. The only thing that I think I just wish that it was in the movie a little bit more at the end.
Yeah.
All I wish that happened was once it came together,